It's with a heavy heart that I have to announce to you today that after 2 years of great service, countless photos, endless videos, memories that stretch for miles, Christmas, Thanksgivings, New Year's Eve, days at the beach, summertime, seeing friends, streaming Pandora while gaming, lots of gaming, that I unfortunately am giving up this. This is my iPhone. See? iPhone. It's an iPhone 3GS 32GB model. And I've had this puppy for the last 2 years. Out of all the phones I've ever used, this has been my favorite phone, hands down, bar none. But the time has come to move on. Move on from the phone, move on from AT&T, on to bigger and better things like the iPhone 4S. Yeah, no, that's not happening. You see, originally my plan was going to be, since my contract is up, middle of March, that, maybe end of March, beginning of May, I'd start saving up a little bit, and when I have the money, I'd either get an iPhone 4S 32GB or an iPhone 5 32GB if they decided to announce that. Because I got this right before the 4 came out, and I was, really bummed out. Because if I had held out, I could have gotten the 4. So I was going to just wait and see. And then I'm listening to the Today in iPhone podcast on my iPod a couple days ago. Because, yeah, I still use an iPod. I don't put all my music on my phone. I have a dedicated iPod, 160GB iPod Classic. And I use that for listening to music, podcasts, all that good stuff. When they had mentioned iPhone data throttling, I must have been living under a rock for the last couple of months, because it turns out that after AT&T cut their unlimited data package, which I have on this because I got it before they cut the package out, I got grandfathered in with my unlimited data. And it turns out that AT&T was throttling users at around 2 gigabytes. When you used about 2 gigs of data, you started getting throttled. They slowed down your speed. If you don't know what throttling is, think of it as me choking the data network and getting slower speeds. So AT&T starts throttling data. Guy decides to sue, wins $850 in small claims court. AT&T plans to appeal that decision, but they've clarified what they're going to do as far as data throttling goes, and their plan is this. When it comes to data throttling, if you use more than 3 gigabytes of data, don't care what you're doing with it. If you use more than 3 gigs of data on an unlimited data plan, we're going to throttle you. Now, there's a few issues that are wrong with this, in my opinion. First off and foremost, I pay for unlimited data. I want to use my unlimited data. There are months where I have capped this puppy out at insanely high numbers. I won't say a number because I don't want AT&T to retaliate against me. But there have been times where I've streamed a bunch of movies, and I've used insane amounts of data. Some months I'm more tame. It varies from bill to bill. So they're saying that 3 gigs is where they're going to throttle you. Now, it's wrong because I want to use my data, but it's also wrong because AT&T basically offers 3 data packages. The first one, $20 a month, gets you 300 megabytes of data. Then for $30 a month, you get unlimited. I pay $30 a month for unlimited data. Now the plan is $30 a month for 3 gigs of data, which you see where they're getting the number to cap you out at. But then they offer a plan for $50 a month with 5 gigs of data. Okay, wait a second. Let me get this straight. If I'm on a tiered data package and I use 3 gigs of data and then I go over, they charge me an overage, another $10 for another gig. Then I assume if I do that again, they charge me another 10, and all of a sudden I'm up to 50 for 5 gigs, so it balances itself out. But if I'm using unlimited data, you're going to tell me that using 3 gigs a month is excessive and clogging the network, and that I'm in the top 5% of data users, when you've got people who are subscribed to a package that gives them 5 gigs a month. Now, how does that work? Let me break it down for you for what it really is. Okay, AT&T doesn't like that there's some people who got grandfathered in on the unlimited data plan, and that they're still getting an all-you-can-eat data buffet and doing whatever they damn well please, like me. But I use my data in a way that is legitimate with the terms of the contract. I don't tether or anything. All I merely do is I download apps, I surf the web, I watch video, blah, blah, blah. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get me, indirectly, to avoid throttling by switching to the tiered data plan. So instead of throttling me, they can just start charging me overages. Yeah, AT&T, you picked the wrong time to screw with me, because my contract's up, I'm moving over to Sprint. Alas, the iPhone 4S 32GB is just a little bit out of my price range right now. Just a little bit. So unfortunately, the concession I'm going to need to make to not keep funneling money into AT&T, who obviously doesn't know how to do good business, is going to mean that I'm going to have to get an Android smartphone. I said it. I've spent years insulting Android, and now I am willingly getting an Android device. Fear not, fans of my channel, people who read my blog, people who subscribe to me, people who follow me on Twitter, people who follow me on Tumblr, people who follow me on any social network where I talk about technology in any capacity. Fear not, because you will still get your iOS app reviews. Because my iPad ain't going anywhere. That thing is tethered to Wi-Fi. That thing has no data connection with any company whatsoever, so nobody can mess with my iPad usage. So you'll still be getting iPad reviews, and I'm still keeping this phone around. I will hook this puppy into Wi-Fi, so I can still put apps on it, and I can still review apps, because I've got too much invested in iOS. That being said, there is a change coming to the channel. I know I teased before I was going to start doing Android app reviews because I was getting an Android tablet, and then I wound up getting the iPad instead. I'm getting an Android phone. We're going to have to deal with that. So I'm going to be adding in Android app reviews from time to time. But the iOS reviews ain't going anywhere because I'm keeping this puppy around. Even if I can't use it as a phone and for texting, I'm still going to be able to use it for apps. I will make sure of that. Because I love my iOS device. I don't like Android, but sometimes you got to make concessions. If you use AT&T and you were grandfathered in on an unlimited data plan, I suggest you follow the move that many people are going to be setting soon, myself being one of them. Vote with your wallet, leave AT&T, get rid of AT&T. The problem is AT&T doesn't have a network that's good enough to support all of their users that they've got. And instead of doing the correct thing and managing it the way Sprint does, where if the network cell tower is congested, they throttle the data and then turn the throttling off when it's uncongested, AT&T is doing it all wrong. They're doing it where they're throttling you when you're using less data than some people who have a tiered data plan. Unfortunately, the way AT&T has always worded their contract, apparently we don't have a legal leg to stand on, but at the same time, you know, the guy won $850 suing over this, so maybe we should all file lawsuits about it. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I don't want to go through all that trouble, and my contract is up in like 2 weeks. So instead, I'm just going to do things the old-fashioned way. Goodbye, AT&T. I'm going over to Sprint. Sorry I couldn't stick around longer, but you should learn how to do business correctly. Sound off with your comments below, and if you know any good Android phones that Sprint has that come into around $99 with a 2-year agreement, please share your thoughts on them. I've been looking at the Evo 3D. I'm considering that one. If you have any experience with that, below, talk about it, please. I'd like to know about it, if it's any good, how it is in day-to-day usage, stuff like that. If there's a phone that's better, maybe if there's one that might cost me a little bit more, but still reasonable, but is a better phone and is worth the premium upgrade, you know, share that with me. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/DanStransky. About.me/HollywoodLights1992, where you can find links to my Twitter profile, my DeviantArt page. I've got a blog link down below, so you can read the blog post I wrote that inspired this video. Share your thoughts. And until next time, this is Dan signing off. I'll see you later.